Came to the Clinton Library. It's here in Arkansas, and I've never been, so I thought I'd come and see. It is kind of a rainy day. It's sprinkling, but it's the aftermath of Hurricane Patricia.
He built a library. Every president since then has built a library, but presidents aren't required to have them. So they're not built with taxpayer dollars, they're built for private companies. Now they brought in planting material and they planted over 9,000 plants on the roof of the building. This helps insulate, but it also filters rainwater and prevents storm runoff when it rains. I would love to show you the roof, but on the roof we've also got the executive residence, which is where the president stays when he comes to town. And for some reason the Secret Service is just really narrow-minded about his traipsing in and out. So we don't have direct access to the roof, but you can go out on the internet and Google Roof of Clinton Center, and there are photographs that you can see. Today's your opportunity to be part of the president's cabinet. Economy was in distress. But when he left office, we had a surplus budget. We had a number of years of economic prosperity. So in this alcove, we're looking at some of those things that were done in order to accomplish that. But in this alcove, we're looking at some of those issues that they did address, which are things we're still talking about today. You know, things like clean air, clean water, climate change. But President Clinton was also instrumental in bringing more lands under federal protection than any president since Teddy Roosevelt. Between the United States and other countries, both allies and former adversaries. So in this alcove, we're looking at some of those renewed relationships. In that process, he also developed personal relationships with a number of world leaders, and you can see many of their portraits here in this alcove. But there was one that was made available. So this is the alcove where we talk about the Whitewater hearings. We talk about the impeachment of the president and his trial by the Senate. He's also a strong advocate for volunteerism and public service. So we talk about the creation and the work of AmeriCorps, which is our domestic Peace Corps. We catalog over 100,000 artifacts in the archives, and there's just not room to display them all. But when President Clinton came into office, we had 50 websites. When he left office, we had 350 million. As you look at this, you'll also notice the great diversity of those celebrations. Now, President Clinton is the only president in our history who has celebrated a millennium. And in conjunction with the millennium celebration, they asked Dale Chihuly if he would create a sculpture for the White House. And he created something called Crystal Tree of Life. It was two massive hand-blown...
Well, all of that across the river from us.
First year in our office, the Brady Bill was signed into law. We had an assault weapons ban. He was instrumental in implementing some innovative approaches to crime prevention and also putting more than 100,000 police on our streets during his administration.
His dad died before he was born, and he was raised primarily for the first few years of his life by his mother's parents. And then when she remarried, they moved to Hot Springs. Yearbook of a future president shaking hands with the current president.
Another dedicated pedestrian bridge, which is actually the longest pedestrian bridge in the country that was actually built for that purpose. It has been built into a dam that crosses the river, so it's been named the Big Dam Bridge. Now, that was not the original intended name, but